Wait, are we doing this? Okay, so hello guys. First of all, I just want to say thank you for taking your time. I know it's Sunday, what is this, afternoon. You got other plans to do, somewhere else to be, half of you guys are hangover, but you guys still made it, being here with us. This is very intimate. Coming out here to see, us, me, myself, my business partner, Fresh, and Will putting something like this together for the first time in Vietnam, back in the motherland, means a lot to us that you guys came out. So I just want to say thank you before we start. Also, I want to say thank you to all the panelists previously, Tao, Levi, Dan for doing this, Dan Boy, Jason, was Jason? I don't see Jason there. Yeah, Francis. Thank you to Rue Miche for this spot. Thank you Viet for helping us with putting this together. And yeah, so this is our last activation here before we turn up tonight at BAM and get drunk again and fly out tomorrow. I feel like I always wanted to do something like this, where I can share the story, the journey of us, how we come here, how we put all this together, how we try. I say a lot the word try, but we're actually doing it. We're actually putting this together. Last night we did this crazy activation at Mami, and it was pretty insane. Thank you, Jason and Rochella, for that. And yeah, so for the second panel, which is this one, we're just gonna have like a little conversation with the boys here, talk about the journey, how we came here, how we end up here, and then essentially have a conversation with you guys, like not really Q&A, just have a conversation, So yeah, pick your popcorn. Yeah, we good.
Okay, there's no popcorn here. So I guess we could just begin with introductions. No, I'll let Milda go first. You can introduce yourself. I think that people know about DCR MILDA, but explain to them who he is.
Oh, damn. So by the way, whatever we say here, stay in this room, okay? Hiệp is my government name, which not a lot of people know. So hi, Hiệp. Không phải cún đâu, Hiệp. Yeah? So people know me as DCR MILDA. MILDA came from Czech Republic, so I'm a Vietnamese, full Vietnamese, born and raised in Czech Republic. I moved to Canada in 2018, so now I live in Toronto. I go back and forth, traveling the world, but I started as a dancer. That's why the DCR came from DCR, instead for dancer, right? Or doctor, whatever. But then yeah, and then I had an injury, so I couldn't dance anymore, and I moved into the music full time in 2018, actually, when I moved to Canada. And then I went to the musical school in Toronto. But now I'm an artist, DJ, producer, performer, business partner, entrepreneur with these guys, my best friends. And yeah, I guess. Yeah?
Okay. I'm William Nguyen, also known as Quarter Will, business partners with Milda and Fresh. My parents left Vietnam in '84, ran away on a boat, barely escaped, ended up in Singapore, and they sent my parents to Canada in the middle of winter. No clothes, no shoes, just flip-flops, landing in December. Grew up in Toronto. I've done a lot of things since. I've been a photographer, I'm in nightlife, I've been in management, I've been in the tattoo industry. I didn't want to do music anymore, but Milda wouldn't, he met me or he found out about me, and he was very persistent for a year.
I got him.
And even though I didn't want to come back to music, I was very enchanted by this young man, and couldn't help but want to support a fellow Vietnamese person so we can have a champion around the world. Fresh over there has been my best friend for almost 20 years. We've done a lot together, and I wouldn't have taken on this project had he not said yes. So, the only reason why we're here is because of these two beside me. So, thank you.
Well, thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Fresh, but my actual government name, since we're given a government name, is Jebril Jalloh. My mom is Jamaican. My father is from Sierra Leone. For those who don't know where Sierra Leone is, it's a little small country in West Africa. And I am Canadian, though. I'm born in Canada. I'm the first generation Canadian. My background, I have 20 years experience of building seven-figure businesses across fashion retail, brand partnerships, and international events. I've managed teams up towards to 82 people, and today I'm here with my two business partners on stage and this fine young man, DCR MILDA. Hey.
I think I'd like to begin like the story of you as a DJ and you as an artist and how you began in Toronto, all your stories and how we got here, a little bit of it, how we met.
So we remember this story very differently, obviously. But so as I said before, I moved to Canada in 2018. I went to the international school, high school in Czech Republic. And growing up in Czech Republic, I always knew that I will never be forever in Czech Republic because, Czech Republic, if you don't know, is next to Germany, super small country, 10 million people only. You can't do much out there. But I still love going back. And then in 2018, I had this opportunity to go and do 1-year exchange, either US, Canada, UK, Australia, or New Zealand. And I heard a lot about Canada, but I never knew what was going on there except Toronto or whatever. So I said yes to Canada. I moved to Chatham, which is this small city 4 hours from Toronto, where I went to for the high school. And then I was very persistent with dancing career back then still because I love arts and all this stuff around it. Music, I was DJing just for fun. And that was full-time thing because for me, I was more passionate about dancing and art and movement than music. But then when I was 15, I was visiting Vietnam. I got into a motorcycle accident, so I couldn't dance anymore. My right knee got completely trashed. And then 2018, when I was in Canada, the doctor was like, yo, you either gotta choose. You either gonna be walking or dancing. You cannot do both. So I was like, I would love to walk because, life is amazing. It would suck to have no legs or one leg. So then I was like, okay, my parents are super traditional Vietnamese people. So my mom's like, yo, come back, finish the year in Toronto, and you're gonna be the lawyer or doctor. Obviously, Vietnamese parents, what else? But I was like, yo, I don't wanna do that. I wanna go and pursue music. So my mom was like, if you can get into musical school, I will support you. Otherwise, it's just hobby. You will never make it. So I applied for the university music production, music business called Harris Institute in Toronto, and I got accepted in 2019. So I moved to Toronto, and in my mind I was like, yo, let me move to Toronto. I had no name. I was DJing some club in Czech Republic, but nothing crazy. And then when I landed, the first day actually, the first moment I landed in Toronto, I got scammed at the airport. Like a minute there, I got nowhere to go. I don't have an apartment. I have no money. I have 5 suitcases. I barely speak English like this, so it was whatever.
You barely speaks English now.
Sure, yeah, I try. And then somehow I managed to go on this website called Kijiji, similar like eBay, where you find places. I found a basement. I went to the basement. I was struggling, trying to figure out all this out because in 2 weeks my school would start. And then, every day, I would go to the school, and then in the afternoon, I would print out the CV, my whole life in one A4 paper format, go into these clubs and just knocking doors, hi, my name is DCR MILDA, I'm the latest DJ from Czech Republic. And the first thing is where the fuck is Czech Republic? I'm like, oh, well, I guess it doesn't matter no more. And then I just keep doing this probably for 2 months until I land into this one place. Now it's called AMPM, back in the day called Party Labor. I walk in, I remember I was really wild young kid. I was 20 years old, I had this tracksuit and I looked like a chessboard. And I walk in there and the guy was like, I don't care who you are, you look like crazy guy, come and DJ. And obviously, I don't know if you guys saw me DJing, but the way how I DJ right now, I've been DJing like this, forever. And I remember there was 2 people in that place, and I was DJing, and this guy's like, yo, are you on crack? What are you on? I have more show for you. And obviously I had no name, so I was trying to do all this, and then I built a little bit of connection, and then I put together the first tour, Europe tour, and this was March 2020. And I remember me and another friend of mine, DJ from Toronto, we landed in UK, London, and the first word I heard was COVID. So I'm like, what the fuck is COVID? Next thing I know, everything just got canceled, and I got stuck back at Czech for like a year and a half, where I kind of trying to find a different path beside the music, and I found out that like I'm pretty diverse person in the term of like what I like and what I want to do. So I managed to open my first restaurant when I was 21 in Czech Republic, and I started doing like a bunch of stuff. I took a break from music, and then September 2021, I kind of feel like I need to go back to the music because like I miss the feeling of performing and kind of like, you know, like when you do something for such a long time and you're very passionate about it and you stop and you kind of rethink your life and you try different stuff, but it's not very fulfilling. So then September 2021, in my mind, I was DJing all these like crazy party in Czech, like during the COVID, almost got arrested, ended up on the newspaper, like it was crazy. And then I moved back to Canada. In my mind, I was like, yo, now like, you know, before they didn't know where Czech Republic is, now I'm like popping in Czech Republic so they will know. I moved to Canada, back again to Toronto, and every single person that I knew of who was a DJ ended up doing like Amazon sale or like working at a factory because like all these like DJ gigs got canceled, so barely nobody become a DJ. So then the reality hits. It's like, yo, you ain't no DJ, you know? Like, you gotta work from the scratch again. So my dad sent me a bike, not even an electric one, like a fucking bike, like you bike on it. And I did the Uber Eats. I went on and I did Uber Eats, and I was like, yo, I gotta like figure out how to make money so I can pursue this dream. So I remember I was like biking on these streets, and then like afternoon I would still go to this bar, remaining bar, knocking on the door, showing my 4,000 followers account on IG that I'm super lit DJ, and then go on Instagram and use hashtag DJ Toronto promoter, and somehow I land on this one page. It's called Last Monday, like party on a Monday, and I saw this one fully tapped Asian man hanging from the roof with a bottle of Ace of Spades. I'm like, who is this guy? Chinese, Vietnamese? I didn't have no idea. I opened the page, photo will, like 25,000 followers. I sent a DM, I was like, yo, this guy probably would never respond to me, but watch. And every day I would like DM this guy and like all the pictures and everything. And then I feel like one day I posted a picture from like a recap party I did during the COVID in Czech Republic, and he responded back. And it's like, was this in Toronto? I'm like, no, it was in Czech Republic, but I'm looking for a manager, I'm looking for a gig, I'm looking for shows or whatever. And he's like, I'm actually starting a new party called Miss Monday, like, which is on a Monday at a club called Apartment 200. And at that time, I was still doing Uber Eats. Before I give somebody food, I would open the food, put my business card in there, and just like try to like really like hustling my ass off, like, you know. And at the same time, I was doing two school. I was doing this like musical school. Then there was this like remix project, which is funded by OVO, which is Drake. So in the morning, I was doing one school. In the afternoon, I was doing this school. And then at night, I was like doing like Uber Eats to like pay. And then I started selling even like gym membership. I was doing fucking everything. And then at the same time, I was managing, like messaging all the guys. And then he replied back and he was like, yo, this Monday come, I'm managing this one DJ, you can open for her. And in my mind, I was like, yo, just watch, bro. Like I come on, there's no headliner, trust me. And I went on, and I remember I walked in with this like silk fucking like whole, I had like a pink hair. I walk in there, I was like super young, no nobody, and I just went fucking off, like the same way how I DJ nowadays. And then at the end of the night, he came to me and he's like, yo, you think you can do a headliner set next week? I'm like, are you guys ready to burn this place down? Because I'm fucking ready. And then next week, I pull up there on Monday, and I use that Monday as like my spot where I would like go throughout the week, messaging people like Will that I would meet, and I was like, yo, come on my party on a Monday, I put you on a guest list. And I feel like people start coming there, and people like, who is this? Sunglasses, chewing gum, colorful hair, fucking on some Coke energy guy that like going nonstop. And it just became like this like statement. And then people start asking, like, if he can do this on a Monday, imagine what he could do in like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then I remember I'm like, yo, just bring it all here, man. And then I just keep working, keep building the network. And then I feel like after 10 months, I started calling this guy. And I was like, so, are you ready to like manage me? And he was like, no. And I was just like, okay, watch. And I literally call him every day. It's like, are you ready today? Tomorrow, are you ready again? And I feel like I look at him as like a mentor, a bigger brother in a city that I don't know people. And people start associating like us together, working together. And then, yeah, and then one day he was just like, yo, you just too much, bro. You're too much to manage. I'm like, yeah, I get that.
Well, I think that like, is this too loud?
No, you good.
Okay. I think that, you know, I saw Milda definitely had talent from the beginning, but he had just like I don't know if you guys could ever tell, but he's got a lot of energy, maybe like a lot of frantic energy. Always like, yo, what about this? What about that? What? And then like you answer him 5 minutes later, yo, but then what's gonna happen here? I'm like, I just told you. Like he's just like that much energy. And I was really afraid of him because I was afraid that like everything that we're gonna do is probably not gonna be enough because he's just like, he doesn't stop. And I just said that in the beginning. I was like, listen, man, I know that you're probably a very ambitious person, but if we're gonna work together, I need to be able to look after you properly because I feel that to be a manager, it's like basically being your dad. You know what I mean? Like you have to care. Like I have to care for you. Like I have to love you. I have to. Like I'm responsible for your life. You know. So for me, it's like any wrong decision that I make, anything that I, you know, neglect, anything that I don't take care of properly has a negative or could have a negative impact on you. You know, and us and what we do. So it took time for me to really like wrap my head around the idea of like being able to manage someone with this much like crazy rapid energy. But you know, I told Milda, I was like, listen, man, I know you're very talented. I had some trauma with the past artist that I managed. Francis can attest. But you know, I just told Milda, I was like, listen, I know you're very talented. I'm a father of 2 kids. As long as you can understand that every hour you take away from me is an hour that you take away from my children, if you can accept that you will return that tenfold, and you can look at my children and be like, yo, I'm gonna take your dad away, and I'll give you everything back. And I said, if you can agree to that, then we can do this. But at the same time, like, we also spoke about the ideas like mental fortitude, you know, that like, as an artist, you have to be the engine. You know, like, we said that Milda is the engine of the car. Fresh and I could be like the nicest paint job, the nicest rims, the nicest wheels, you know, the greatest stereo, but if the engine doesn't work, the car doesn't go anywhere. So I have to kind of also commend him for being a person who left home very far, no friends, came to an even colder country probably, and you know, like he fought through it all on his own. I mean, he lived in a basement for like 2 years. You know, like as business partners, you know, like we also had to make sure that not only him as a partner, but as a friend, he was in good mental shape all the time. Like it wasn't easy, you know what I mean? Like going through this and trying to navigate that part. Like, cause you think that in business and in management, it's all about like, what's the marketing strategy? What's the next move? But a lot of it is like, how do we keep sane? How do we keep healthy? How do we keep, you know, positive? You know what I mean? Because without that, nothing really matters. But, you know, I'll swing it over to Fresh and let him kind of like tell us about like why you decided that you would, because I just said that, Milda, I will not manage you by myself. If I could get 2 more people to agree to your madness, I would say yes. So, of course, I asked my best friend Fresh, so I'll let him kind of talk about what his thoughts were about him.
Just a premise, I never wanted to be in the music business, ever.
That's a lie.
Never, ever. When he was in the music business, I sat on the sidelines, still around, but I just had all the perks. But I never really wanted to be actually ingrained in the business. You know, growing up in Toronto, Francis, you could attest to this, we grew up around, you know, probably the greatest 10 to 15 year run of music, the Drakes, the Weekends, the Party Next Doors, the list goes on and on and on, down to the producers, the Francis Scott Heats, the Wonder Girls, et cetera, greatest ever. And when Will brought it to me, he was like, listen, I know you're super busy. There's this kid, super energetic, kind of super crazy. You may not understand everything he's saying, but I think he's super talented and his ambition is insane. I'd love for you to just meet him. So I told Will, set up a meeting. We went to the studio and, you know, I'm sitting here. I've never seen what this guy looks like. I didn't like go on Instagram and check him out or anything. I was just like, all right, I'll see who this guy is. So he walked into the studio. I'm looking at this kid. I'm just like, all right. And he was kind of shy. I could tell he was like shy. He was like nervous. And I was sitting there looking at him, and I just started like grilling him with questions back to back. I don't remember what the hell I asked him, but it was just like back to back questions. He answered them all really well. And his ambition was like, I think what I fell in love with more than anything was not really your talent. It's your heart, your ambition, your motivation, and your dedication. I told Will right away, I was like, I'm over anything, his hustle and his drive. And he told me he was doing Uber Eats. Some people don't know what Uber is. It's like Grab. So it's like when you deliver the food, that's what he was doing in the winter. And I was like, he's doing what? And I was like, all right, cool. You know, he really believes in this and wants to take this somewhere, and he's willing to do whatever it takes. And I feel like what Will was saying is like important. The engine is everything. And, you know, talent is one thing, but your hustle is everything. You could be the most talented person in the world. We've seen so many talented people fall by the wayside in our city and just people we've grown up with, and it's sad, but I seen his drive and I was like, all right, cool. I can get behind this. Let's do it and let's make it work.
When we first asked Miller, we're like, yo, I want you to kind of give us a plan of what you want to achieve in the next year or two. He sends us like a 6-page PDF. It's got mansions, it's got
I still have that. Don't worry. I still have that.
Yeah. He sent it to us and I was like, bro, what the fuck is this? He was like, this is what we're gonna do. And I'm like, bro, like it says that we're making $10 million next year. He's like, yeah, you gotta manifest, bro. You gotta manifest. I'm like, bro, you don't make $10 million the next year. He's like, bro, if we think about it, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So we didn't do it yet, by the way.
Hey, yo, we here, by the way, no? I saw this. Here we are sitting here in Vietnam, back in motherland.
Worth more than 10 million.
Obviously, we're not making 10 million yet, but
There'll be
take
signs.
it back. We will. It's coming. Don't worry. You will see when I want to make 10 million. You will see. Don't worry.
But yeah, I would say bigger than the money. Obviously, we all love money, but bigger than the money. That's not why we're here. That's not why we're doing this. Not why we're sitting down in front of you. For us, it's all about building community. So us as a label. So Will and I's background has always been about creating a sense of community. You know, we've always kind of been the black sheep and the outcast, like family-wise or even just community-wise. Like I was the black kid who grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood, but chilled with Vietnamese, chilled with Koreans, chilled with Spanish people, Italian people. Like I was around everything. I ate everything. You know what I mean? Most of my friends still only eat Jamaican food or only eat African food. But I was the kid who was always like, no, I always wanted to try everything. And I feel Will was, you know, we were very similar within that. And we were always like, you know, there's a lot of people who are like us, and there's a lot of people, there's all these, we get to experience all these amazing cultures, and we're like, yo, we want to like showcase that and build that. And everywhere, any business that we've been a part of, we had our own business on Queen Street, it's like our fashion district in Toronto. We had a store there. He also managed a tattoo shop down the street. We were like, all right, let's build this community here. Let's build this multiculturalism here. If you go on our Instagram, see any of our parties or our block parties that you do, you see obviously Toronto's the most multicultural, maybe it's not obvious, it's the most multicultural city in the world, but it's still kind of segregated in some ways. But for us, we were like, yo, let's put everybody together in the same room, in the same space, and let's show love to every culture. And that was a big thing for us.
Yeah, so I think that most VQ people can probably relate to this, anyone who grew up overseas, is that, you know, one thing that I realized that people who live here don't experience is like this idea of like maybe discrimination and racism, right? Like you live here, everyone's the same. Like you're not picked on for that reason, but when you live overseas, you know, like you're seen as Vietnamese, you're definitely not seen as Canadian or wherever it is that you're from. So I think I grew up with a lot of ambivalence where you kind of just like didn't like being Asian and you kind of wanted to be everything but. And I think that I spent a lot of my childhood just like being, you know, in different communities, hanging in black communities, Spanish communities, you know, Italian communities, everything that was not me. And, you know, like I said, I think that when I had my first kid, it was actually funny because like my wife is fully Vietnamese, but my whole life I avoided any Vietnamese girl because I was afraid that if I had a full Vietnamese child that they'd probably go through the same sort of racism or discrimination that I would have had. Obviously, mixed kids go through their own issues. But when I had my first son, he's fully Vietnamese. And I found out that there's so many things that I love about him. And I wanted him to be proud of being Vietnamese. So I think that in learning to love my son and his full Vietnamese-ness, I kind of like learned to re-love myself.
And I think that seeing Milda is a good representation of like my son for someone who's older that I can support and kind of find a way to give like confidence to in a way that I never had growing up. So to me, like working with Milda isn't just business. It's the heart's work, you know. So.
Yo, mind you, I just want to add, because like when I was harassing him, like, yo, you gotta be my manager. I remember he takes me back and he was like, yo, I might not be able to manage you, but I can help you, I can guide you. And he said, obviously the thing he said about like, you know, being a manager is like a full-time job, you know, because if I care about money, I would do that, but I don't care about money. And then he said, you're Vietnamese, I'm Vietnamese. And this time I was in the basement still, like hustling gig. And he was like, you're Vietnamese, I'm Vietnamese. If I'm not helping you, it's me shitting on my own kids. And when he said that, I was like, okay, this guy is probably somebody that I just don't need him as a manager. I need him like to be in my corner, like for life as a person, as a brother, right? And when that moment, like when that realization came, I never gave up on him. I was like, before he took me on as a manager, there was so many people in Toronto that saw me as just like a ticket, like how they can like, you know, become like my manager and stuff like that. And I said no to every single person because in my mind, I was like, if we out here building something that is greater than just $10 million, something is more impactful, then it has to be with people that are same values and see the same, on the same page, right? Because a lot of, like, don't get me wrong, like you guys here all from creative, you know, industry background, nightlife, DJ, you might know or not know how dark it is. Like how dark it is in the sense of like, people are just selfish, right? Not everybody, but a lot of people in this game are selfish. And they see you as a ticket, they just want to milk the fuck out of you until they cannot milk you anymore and then move on to the next one, right? But when I met somebody like him, when he said a word like that, and I barely know him. I feel like at that time we didn't meet yet. I sent him a video of me sitting in the basement, sending him a 9-minute DJ set with a white background, sitting out as like a submission video to me be able to play on a Monday. And he said something like that, and in my mind I was like, yo, even if it's just a gig for a Monday, it doesn't need to be the management side yet, but I need to like be patient enough and, you know, wait to this guy decide that like when he's ready to manage me, and obviously manifest your shit. That's why I was like, yo, I need this guy on my corner, and fucking here we are, so.
Okay, maybe we could talk about our first lines in Vietnam. Okay, maybe you first.
I'm not being Vietnamese. I might be Vietnamese, soon though. But I'd say, you know, being best friends with this guy for 20 years and always being around the culture and the food, especially the food, and just seeing the way of life and just the family dynamic was always beautiful. So it was always important for me to come here. It took us way too long to come here, but better late than never. And the first time I came here, I actually wasn't with Will, with Milda. I came here in January for 3 weeks, and I didn't know what to expect. I was literally like a kid on the way to Disney World. I was on the plane like, yo, I can't wait. I made sure I didn't Google anything. I'm like, I don't want to Google image anything. I don't want to go on TikTok. I don't want to see anything. I just want to like land and just feel that rawness of what it's going to look like. And I remember like, you know, landing and like, you know, getting the VIP. Oh, I need you to get the VIP. Thanks for me. Landing, getting the VIP, getting to immigration, and just getting out the airport and just seeing all the faces and just the air and the heat and just like everyone just staring at me because they're like, you know, who's this black guy here? And but not in like a negative way, and just like, you know, getting in the Grab and riding through the city, and I just had my phone out like a kid, just like a real tourist, just filming everything. I was like, wow, look at the trees, look at the grass, look at the people, look at the food vendors. Like I was asking him a million questions. I could tell he's annoyed at me. And then when we got outside and we got to walk, it was like I've been all over the world, literally. I'm on like maybe 60 planes a year, I would say. Like I'm always traveling. And when I came here, it was this weird sense of like, I'd say by day 10, we go to this breakfast spot every morning, and I felt like, when I walk in there, it was like, I don't know how everyone was going to treat me. And I walked in, everyone's like smiling, everyone's saying hi, everyone's trying to help me, everyone's trying to give me different type of food, everyone's bringing me the menu, trying to show me everything. We went to Da Nang, and he sleeps in. I wake up every day like 6, 7 a.m. So I leave the hotel room, and I went out and I went to go find this chicken spot. And I went there, and there's a 6-year-old girl, and she's the only one who spoke English. She worked for her parents, it was her parents' restaurant. And she came over, she seen me walk in, and she was super excited. She's like, I get to practice English. And she ran up to me and brought me the menu. Someone else came, she's like, no, go. And she brought the menu, and I'm like, yo, I came for the chicken. I seen the chicken online, I need the chicken. And she's like, okay, don't worry. And she came, she pointed to me, she's like, this one is very good. You should try this one. She comes back, the guy comes, tries to ask me what a drink. She's like, no, I'm helping him. Go away. She goes, so she's there, I'm pointing, and she brings me my food. And she's out there, and she literally pulls up a chair as my food comes and puts the chair right in front of me. And she's sitting there. She's like, how is the food? I was like, this is it. And I'm watching the parents. Like, I'm telling you, in Canada, they're not letting no 6-year-old girl sit out like grown man at a table and have a conversation with me. I'll tell you that right now, I'm immediately crushed. So just sitting there, and I'm like having this conversation with this 6-year-old, and she's like, do you know your animals? And I'm like, she's showing me the cats and all that. I'm sitting here, and I'm like, this is like probably one of the greatest experiences of my life. I'm sitting here, and she's showing me how to eat the food, eat this sauce, and eat it with this, and wrap this with the lettuce. And I'm just here, I'm like, this is crazy. And the parents are sitting there watching me, just laughing. Everyone in the restaurant is laughing. And I'm like, I felt so loved here, and then actually coming back and working here and, doing all the events that we've been able to put together this weekend. It's like working with all these different creatives, like these incredible video team and DJs and other panelists and just everyone. We've done photo shoots here, all the brands here, the fashion, we already talked about that, incredible. And just the energy I get from everyone, I'm just like, wow, like this is really the future. Like the creative scene here is like, I know Vietnam will be the center of like global creativity. If it's not happening yet, I know someone was talking earlier how like, it's going viral, all the brands and everything, but like, it's gonna be deeper than that. People are gonna be coming here trying to take everything and exploit it to the world, because this is amazing. I'll FaceTime with all my friends, everybody, look at this, look at that, look at this brand, look at this food, look at this, look at this. They're all looking at me like I'm crazy, but I think this is like, right now, I think this is the center of everything. That's how I feel, and I've been everywhere.
I remember the first time I came to Vietnam with Milda was 2 years ago. It was the first time ever, because my whole life I never wanted to go to Vietnam because my parents would just tell me like crazy stories, like it's so sad or it's so poor, there's chickens everywhere, there's dogs everywhere. And I was like, I don't know if I want to be in a country with the chickens running around. And then I remember getting off the plane, and I was like, and then Milda had like some friends he wanted to introduce me to, and I was like, oh, there's young people who live here. I didn't know there's young people. So my parents told such sad stories. It was just like Gailung and just sad music, everything, like all the film stuff was always like most depressing shit ever, or they watch the old like sword movies, with the hats and the long coats. And I'm like, yo, there's no one young here. They get here, I'm like, yo, they got hip hop, but they got fashion. They got people under 20, like or under 30, sorry. Like, and I was like, oh, I was just expecting this old, sad people. And which is like very like silly and ignorant when you think about it, but it was the only image my parents ever painted for me. Because I think that like when they left, it was very sad for them, right? Like my mom still to this day like thinks of like Vietnam as very sad. My dad is absolutely so angry that I'm here. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that because like Jason said, like our parents fought so hard to get out of this country only for us to come back 4 years later. There's kind of like, why did we leave? But yeah, no, I think that coming here, it's kind of given me like a whole new sense of like pride. It's kind of given me like a whole sort of like understanding of like who I am, where I'm from. I mean, Fresh is a person who's been very proud of his identity and his background for a very long time. And I think that I had a very hard time with like who I was. But I think that being here is also like a lot of like Fresh's pushing, for us to kind of just like really like get deeper into who we are and embrace, our identity and culture, not run away from it. So like, I think this past weekend for us is something I don't think that I would have ever really imagined. You know what I mean? Like, I think that a lot of people come back home and visit, in a very, for lack of a better word, like a tourist way. But for us to come back and activate and like build a community and like kind of be with a culture, I think is pretty special. And I mean, thank you to everyone who's been a part of this entire weekend, because I could tell everyone back home, but it's kind of like it's kind of unbelievable. Like if you kind of tell people, they kind of think you're lying and bragging, but it really happened.
Yeah, like when you guys talking earlier, me and Fresh, we're dreamers, but also I learned that sometimes in order for you to dream and go forward, you have to also stay present. And I was just standing there with Fresh. I was just like, yo, this was just an idea, and there's actually like people that we admire, we respect, we love the work, and they actually took the time to come and sit. Like last night at Miami Cocktail, like whoever was there, like there was a moment I was just standing there, and I was like, the fact that like we're actually doing this and we're not even from here, and we be able to bring these people together through the music and witness what we did last night. Obviously, thank you to everyone who got involved and people who came. It's something that like I was like, you just gotta manifest, bro. You just gotta see it. But like, seeing it, when you're seeing it, it's not that crazy. But then when you're there at that present moment and you look at that, I was like, there's people actually like, pushing the traffic because there's way too many people and all this. I'm like, bro, this is insane. So, back to Will Points, it's like a lot of people here, like Jason said, like Viet come here because it's cheaper. They, do all these massages, pop bottle because it's like, 1/10 of price. But then for us, it was like always, because growing up in Czech Republic, I feel like it's similar like in Germany. Like I growing up there, I was like probably 1 or 2 Vietnamese or Asian kids in the whole school. I never have a black friend growing up like at all. So like, for me, it was like, people were looking at me, it's like, oh, you like Vietnamese, right? Like when I'm in Czech. But when I was 5 years old, my mom always, so in a family, usually, right, mom is always like capital. My mom was like, yo, không nói tiếng Việt đừng có về nhà. If you don't speak Vietnamese, don't come home. So she sent me back to Vietnam when I was 5 years old to learn the language. And people in Vietnam, they just look at me, it's like, oh, you're not Vietnamese. Because I was super skinny, tall, didn't walk how Vietnamese people walk, same like how you mentioned before. So then I was like, so what the fuck I am? I was 10 years old and I was like, I'm not Viet, I'm not Czech. And then I moved to Canada and these people was like, are you Russian? Like, and I'm like, why? And I was like, because the way how you say bro, like the way how you roll the tongue. I'm like, no, I'm from Czech Republic, Vietnamese. So I was like very lost. Like, I never knew like, where I belong or like who I am actually. And, I used to talk about this as like a bad thing, but now when I look back, I feel like that's a superpower that made me who I am today. Because when I came to Vietnam, I remember I came here in September for the first time as an adult that I stayed more than 3 days, and I saw more than just the airport. I told this guy, I was like, yo, I gotta come to Vietnam before I go on this 5-month tour. And I came here, and on my 3rd day, I found an apartment, I signed a contract for the whole year. And I was like, guys, like, the feeling that I have that being here and how it makes me feel about creating things, meeting people, networking, but also about the stuff, about the art that I do, is very special. I don't know how to put it into the words yet, but I will probably find a way. And then I came back, I saw this guy, I was like, guys, we need to go to Vietnam. Like, we need to go back. Like, I don't know how to explain. Like, all these things is amazing about this country. But when we come back, we have to do more than just come and travel and go to Da Nang or Phu Quoc, like we gotta do more. We gotta do like some activation, some crazy stuff. We gotta like shut down the street. And obviously, the notion of like, Vietnam is not, when you compare like, Vietnam and West, there's a lot of things you can do in the West, like in Canada, that you are not allowed to do in Vietnam yet. But there's always a way, where's the will, there's a way, right? And I felt, huh?
And I'm the Will.
And he's Will, so you know what I'm saying? That's a green card right there. So I was like, we have to do more, we have to do crazy stuff. People come here, they do some like, hosting, they do DJing. I don't know if you guys see, but I don't DJ in Vietnam like at all. There's so many offers. It's not like I'm like, thinking about myself something more than that. But for me, it was more so like, this is my motherland. I feel amazing here. I feel something that like, it's recharging me. So for me to do something here, it has to be on the same value. I don't want to come here, get the bag, make, some dollar here, and then dip and treat this country as like another country I'm gonna go next, like Berlin. I love Berlin too. But so then I was like, we gotta do more. We gotta do more in the sense of like how we bring people together, how we connect people, how we network with other people, how we can showcase that there's more stuff to do out here than just, come here for vacation or whatever. And then, as I said before, when you have an amazing team that understands, see the vision, you can pull everything off. And honestly, I'm sitting here, I'm a little bit tired because this 2 days better been insane, and we still have one more party to go. But this like warmed my heart, truly. This is very intimate, and for us to be able to pull something together and do, and obviously, you know, you guys can watch it later, or people at home can watch it later too. It means a lot, you know, and having this platform is all I wanted to do, because I wanted, the goal with the More Sauce music is, you know, I guess we'll talk about it, but back in the day, there was a thing called Paris by Night. I don't know if you guys know about it, right? And then when we talk about, you know, the branding and who we are and what we want to do, I was telling the guys, like, I want to recreate Paris by Night with More Sauce music and bring it worldwide. And it's beyond just like come and play a couple of Wiener House songs, you know? It's more so like rocking and truly believing and embracing that Vietnamese blood, that, you know, Czech flag, that Canadian roots of like, you know, people, and go worldwide and kind of like show them, put them on the maps, like, yo, we cool as fuck. This is the music, this is the font that we use, this is the color that we use, you know, because I feel like it's very important that like you being proud, even like if you're Viet Kill or even not Viet Kill. But I feel like, you know, me personally, when I said before, I was lost because I didn't know where I belong. Now when I found out who I am and I turned it into a superpower, I'm super proud to traveling around the world and do what I do and rocking this flag and like, you know, More Sauce, and there's like the Zoe and Vân, you know, because I feel like it's important for people to understand that you're just not fucking a rice field out here, you know, like we have fucking crazy shit. So, yeah.
Okay. No, I was just saying that, like, I mean, I don't know how long we've been talking, so I guess at some point we just start with a Q&A or something, but I'll say my a last point is that I think this past weekend was pretty special. If you think about growing up in a place for 40 years and then coming back here, which is home, and then finding your home after 40 years, on the other side of the world, it's interesting that you can still find a part of yourself in a place so far away. You know what I mean? A place so far away that took you so long to get to, where you can kind of still find like such a deep part of yourself that you never would have thought would have existed, you know? I would have never thought that being here would have like felt like this. But I think that as I get older, the concept of home becomes very, very different to me. And I think it becomes very different for all of us. You know, like this isn't where we grew up, but something keeps calling us back. It says that, like, you know, come back home, even though we've never known it. And it's, even when we're back, it's like we never left, even though we were never here. So it's quite interesting. Damn. And then with that, I don't know what else we want. I don't know.
I mean, I'm gonna talk on
Yeah.
more of the business side of what we got going on. So this weekend, More Sauce weekend, More Sauce Music is the label. Everything what he was just saying with the Paris by Night. But More Sauce Music is the label, and the goal is, one of our goals, and this was actually, you guys are all part of our first entry of our goal, was to create these More Sauce Music weekends. And, you know, talking to the guys, I'm like, we have to launch this in Vietnam. It only makes sense, you know. Obviously, we have big markets everywhere in the world, but we're like, you know, right, he's saying he's tired because of this 3 events he did. Right before we came here, we were in Goa. Before Goa, we were in Mumbai. Before Mumbai, we were in Hyderabad. Before Hyderabad, we were in New Delhi. And this was back to back on a flight every single day. 4 cities, 4 shows, 4 flights. And right before that, we were in Chiang Mai and Bangkok and Jakarta, straight. We have not been sleeping at all. So the whole time we're in the hotel rooms and we're, you know, calling each other, meeting up, having lunch, like stressing about like, yo, we have to make sure this weekend is as perfect as possible. And it's not about as perfect as possible for us. It's as perfect as possible because what it means to them. And, you know, I'm not Vietnamese yet, but it's important to me because I know it's so important to them. And it's just like, and it's important after coming here the first time and meeting all these amazing people, I'm like, I want us to make sure that we do the greatest job by you guys. We don't want to be even though, you know, they are Vietnamese by blood, like, you know, we're technically from somewhere else and we're coming here. We don't want to come here and try to exploit anything. We don't want to come here and do anything half-assed. We want to be able to come here and work with the right partners. You know, Jason and Lachelle have been really great to us, and shout out to you guys and just everyone else that we've been able to work with this weekend. And, you know, we want to come here and do everything properly, and we want to do everything be responsible with everything we do, and give you guys a good time and make sure we're not disrespecting the land or anyone here and taking an advantage of anyone. So we've been working and busting our ass on that. We were like, yo, let's launch this here. I know we got this tour. They're going, literally, this was the break in between the tour. He's leaving tomorrow. And this was the first part of this. So the goal is we will do this all over the world. We've built an international business. As I just said, we were in India, Thailand, in Indonesia. And the goal is to create something like this all over the world. One, it's to be able to partner with different creatives, thought leaders, business owners, and some political ties in certain countries that we would need to, and to be able to build with them and create moments. Like today, Jason texted us and was like, yo, this was the greatest numbers we've ever had. We've never had this. We just hit the record-breaking numbers for the people who've attended our block party. So we're super happy about that, to be able to, and I've heard there's a lot of different people that don't normally come to Mommy Cocktail, which is important to us, because it's like, if we can partner with you guys and create and develop a new demographic for all the people that we work with, home run for us. You know what I mean? Everywhere we go, we want to leave our mark and make sure everyone is still eating off of whatever we've been able to partner on and develop together. And the goal is to create that all over the world. The thing of these amazing cameras that we have all here and the amazing video team is, as Will was saying, there's people here who think, people in the world, very ignorant people, who think there's just rice fields here. And everywhere we go in the world, they've got this negative connotation because, media has this way of designing and making all these countries and cities look like they're lesser than. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people in Vietnam that don't think everyone looks like this, and that the city doesn't look like this, and you can do all these amazing things. So with the content, our whole goal is to, one, obviously market everything we're doing, but two, also kind of break this idea of what these countries look like. It's super important for us to tell this story and show all the amazing things here. And don't focus just on main media. Look at what we're putting out. Look what we're showing. Let me show you the music, the fashion, the food, the people, the love, the culture, and everything. And I'm not saying we're doing the greatest job of telling the story, but we're trying to, we're making a massive effort to be able to tell the story and build this globally. Again, you're talking about $10 million. Don't get me wrong, I want $10 million. I want a lot more than that. But that's not our number one push. Our push is telling the story and building community. And the world is a really big place, but our goal is to connect it more and make it feel more familiar. It's a big thing for us. So a lot of that is what we're doing with More Sauce Music. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, we can have like a casual conversation, I guess, for another 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If you guys have any concern, question, notes, anything, yes sir.
Like you guys think about kind of moving your base more to Vietnam, staying here for longer, and like living in Saigon for at least a bit of a long time?
Yeah, I just told this guy, I'm like, yo, the next lease we gotta get a 3-4 bedroom crib. I'm staying there. I love this place. I think this city, I don't know. Out of everywhere I've been in, I live in Miami. I'm from Toronto, but I live in Miami right now. And I love Miami, don't get me wrong. But coming here, as I said earlier, it literally feels like home. Like, I walk around these streets, I feel safe, I'm not worried about anything. I just feel love. Like, I told Will right away, I'm like, if Mr. Trump ever kicked me out of America in the first place, I'm going in right here.
Fresh is getting his Vietnamese ID very soon. But with that being said, in September when I came here for the first time, I didn't think that I would be here for a long time, because I literally went on this 5-month tour. But then I was like, you know what? I don't want to come back to Toronto because it's cold. I hate cold. I've been there since 2018, and I've been telling these guys every Friday, they're like, yo, we need to get the fuck out of here. I need to get the fuck out of here. You guys can stay here. I ain't doing this shit no more. And then in September when I came here, I was like, yo, they have summer here all year long. This is crazy, bro. And what, 35 degree, yo, sign me up. And then I literally got an apartment. And I feel like, right before the Vietnamese trip, I was in Thailand. And I was like, Thailand is sick. I probably would move to Thailand and have a more soft music based either in Thailand or in Korea, which I have the biggest fan base there. But then when I came to Vietnam, and then I was like, yo, I can speak Vietnamese, I understand these people, the culture, I feel so aligned here. So it makes more sense for me to have a base here. So, one of the reasons why we're doing this activation is to bring the right people, try to bring the right people together and, do some impact and build with, local businesses or people or artists or vendors or, you name it. But also, it's more so like, have it as a base that like I can always go back and forth. And for me, the number one thing was the travel thing, because I went on tour September 2024, and every single month I would take a plane for 22 hours to every month, one time or two times, to fly to Asia, do 2 shows, jet lag as fuck, fly back to Toronto, not functioning for 10 days, and then by the time I fix my jet lag, I would be on another flight and then fly back. And I would be doing that for like the whole year. And then I was like, guys, I know I'm young, but bro, I might die soon, We have $10 million to make. So I need to find a solution how to like avoid all this. And then I came here and just everything just fall into the, into places. And then Vietnam is the place where everything's 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hour max. And then also it's pretty cheap with like, maintaining yourself, the apartment and everything. And then so I was like, yo, this is probably you know what? I always told my parents, and my parents, like, when I said it, they love it because, my parents always said, you gotta get married to a Vietnamese girl, maybe move to Vietnam, and all this. I was like, on purpose, I would date a white girl, or like, now black girl or Latino, but whatever. And then I told my parents one time, I was like, I will move to Vietnam for a certain period of time because I feel like there's a calling. There's something that I can do more for the community, somehow, contribute. But there was no timeline on it, And then, and everything just happened like naturally in September when the way how the business got evolved, expanded. And so now I pretty much sure say that like I have a base here, the boys had a base here, crash out on my couch and in the bedroom. Next time we want to get a massive villa in B2 so we can all be neighbors. But yeah, we're here now and I feel like, Will, he has a whole family, so I feel it's more complicated than just me and 5 suitcases or him and 4 suitcases. But yeah, I mean, you can.
I think that I've definitely been debating the idea of coming home, but like I said, or Milda said, I have a family, so it's a bit more complex than that. But I do think that it's important to build here, but I don't think I could stay here because I think I take the idea of representation really seriously, and I can't wave the Vietnamese flag. I'm already in Vietnam. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta take that flag somewhere else, you know what I mean? So if that means we gotta go to Europe, we gotta go to Latin America, we gotta go to North America, wherever it is that we gotta go, that flag has to be waved. And it's our job to make sure that we get across those borders and we gotta do what we gotta do so people know who Vietnamese people are, right? I think I spent my entire life, I would say like burning the bridge, to Vietnamese culture, like just doing everything that a Vietnamese person. I wouldn't do karaoke. I wouldn't learn any card games. I wouldn't be good at math. I avoided all those things. I had horrible math scores just on purpose. And then I think that one day when I was like, and I would build with all these other cultures, and I think that one day someone came up to me and they were like, yo, we really appreciate what you're doing for the Vietnamese culture. And then in my mind, I was like, I wasn't doing anything for you guys. I was trying to like get away from all you guys. But what I ended up doing that I didn't realize I was doing was I was building a bridge from this side to that side without realizing that I was doing it. And then when I realized that that was actually what I had been doing the whole time, I realized how important that was for everyone else who was watching. And I kind of now understand how important it is for me to not just be locked in one place, but continue to move. So I don't know if that answers your question entirely, but I think that's how my mind works on that topic. Anything else from anyone? Yeah.
I would like to know what is like the biggest mistake you think foreigners make when they try to enter the music industry in Vietnam?
I think ego. Like a lot of people, I feel like it's not just music, but it's everything, right? Like, again, I'm not speaking about like everybody, but majority or what I saw is they have this notion of like, yo, I'm from the West, I'm better, I have like better resources, so whatever I say is right, and you know what I'm saying? But then I feel like that is how you disconnect yourself with the locals. A great friend of ours, John, he has like a massive, like, successful business here, like all this club, band, bodega, all this restaurant. when we came here for the first time, I met up with him. We asked him the same exact question too, like how did you be able to like, come and connect with all these people? And it was just like sometimes you just have to level yourself lower to be able to connect with the people, for them to understand you and for you to understand people in order for you guys to do something, right? Like Tamina, she said it earlier, like everything, all the connection here is built on like a personal level. Like, so I feel like, a lot of Western guys coming here or people coming here is like, I want money, I want to do this, and I feel like the labor here is cheap, so, blah, blah, blah. But then they disconnect themselves from the notion of like, how about like, we become friends first and we see if we even aligned, or like my morals match with yours, are we on the same page? Like, before we do anything together. And I feel like, this thing in like the music industry, a lot of times like, oh, I got, trained by this guy, and like, I know how Spotify works over there, and I know that you guys don't know much, so this is how it goes. But the reality is it doesn't work like that, right? Every market works differently. And I feel like, it takes a lot for a person to also like, okay, maybe I know a lot, but how about shut the fuck up and listen and have like a conversation first, Yeah, so I feel that's what I feel like I learned when I came here as a DJ. I realized that there's so many talented DJ. Like, I never seen that many talented DJ in Vietnam. This guy can, like, he can test that, because this guy walked in the club with me one time. He's like, who the fuck is this guy with dreads, coke bag, and go and destroy this whole club, no introduction, nothing. Like, it's like there's so many talented people here, but I feel like they're very genuine. They, a lot of like, social media marketing, a lot of things to work on still, but they're down to earth. And I feel like, be able to understand of like how we can connect and how we can learn, and the way how these people accept me is because I can have a conversation with coffee with you on a regular basis, not even talk about the music, just like, yo, who are you? Like, show me your country. Like, yo, I'm probably Vietnamese, but I'm not from here, you know what I'm saying? Like, take me on, like, what do you eat, blah, 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 get interested in that. A lot of people come here with like, I want to make $10 million, that's it, I don't get. Yeah, exactly, and that, I feel like, because the culture is very different here, right? So I feel like you should have to understand that. But also, just because it's here different doesn't mean it's like same somewhere else. In Korea it's so different, in Japan it's so different, in Thai it's super different. I mean, similar like here, but what I'm saying is like, put the ego aside and kind of, from the music industry, unless you guys want to add into from the business.
I can't speak much on, I'm a newbie still, but
Just to hear your input, because I'm sure you said that you're not Vietnamese, right?
not yet.
Not yet?
Yes, two more trips.
Not yet. Okay, not
Two
yet.
more trips, more Vietnamese coffee, don't worry. But I mean, I have the same approach anywhere I go. I travel, I've been traveling for 20 years, and I spend a lot of time in a lot of different places all over the world. I only speak English. And people, number one question, everybody's like, how do you go to all these places? You go to Mexico once a month. They don't speak English there. How do you go there? I'm like, yo, it's body language. It's body language, it's love, it's smiles, it's greetings. Love is the same in every language. Smiles are the same in every language. It doesn't matter. So when I go to a country, I lead with love. Every time, anywhere I go, I walk in a restaurant, biggest smile on my face. I'm giving a high five. I'm showing how excited and how happy I am to be here. You see me whipping on my phone, taking pictures of all the food and the drinks and everything, and I'm just super excited, and I show that love everywhere I go. So I feel like, this works for anything, music business, any business. I don't go to any city with the mentality of I need to come here and take anything. We all, I'm Jamaican and African, they come from colonized countries. So it's like, my mentality is the opposite. It's go and give. I can't come here and, give jobs or give this, or I can come and help and, create platforms and do events, but my mentality is I'm gonna give love. I'm gonna come and, be excited, and I'm gonna walk in there and be like, yo, explain this menu to me. As best as you can. I gotta take my chat GPT out and translate it, whatever it is, but like, I just lead with love. So I think for any business you're doing in any country in the world, if you're not leading with love, good luck. There's not gonna be much for you. You know what I mean? And like, as you were saying, is like, I don't think what he was trying to say exactly was like lower yourself, but like, you gotta have this mentality of like, love opens yourself up. So like, you gotta open yourself up to people. I gotta come here and build a rapport with everybody. So when I was here in January in 3 weeks, it wasn't like, I'm gonna come here in January, let's throw this party and let's do this and let's do that. No, I wanna come and put my feet on the ground. I want to go to Da Nang, go sit on the beach and chill, and I want to go do what the locals do. I don't care to go to this tourist trap. I don't want to do none of that. You see where we go eat. You think you would not? You would walk in here and be like, "What are you doing in here?" I'm with all the locals. I'm trying to be with the people, because that's how that's how you show love. That's how you spread love. You go into a country or you're doing business in a country. You need to understand who these people are. You understand what they've been through, what they're doing, what their values are, because everyone's values aren't the same. And when you're going to a country, you need to understand their values. That's why I say leading with love, you understand their values. You can tell from their body language, oh, they don't really like that. They don't really like when you say that. They don't really like whether you look like that or how you do things. So, and you just got to learn quick. You know what I mean? Because not everything works everywhere. But that's what I was at.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Right. Is that it?
Do you do one more? Do you do one more question?
Anybody else?
If you guys have anything in your mind, this is your last chance. You're not gonna sing for a long time. Long time is 5 hours, by the way. I see you guys are bad tonight. But anyone else?
I want to say one. Oh, we got one in the back.
Well, I just want to thank you guys for doing this, because I really am picking up on everything you're talking about, like the energy, like how you're really connecting to your roots here, and like doing it with friends. I really understand that journey and trying to heal within yourself and then bring that outside to the whole diaspora and even outside Vietnam. And I just see like myself and my friends in this a lot, and we're at this point where we're planning grants, we're trying to grow our brand so that we can take it to another level. And I just wanted to ask more directly, like how you originally started monetizing what you're already doing, so that, because I noticed you did all these things for free, which was like great too. And you talk about like doing it on a smaller scale and like connecting with the locals, and that's like exactly something we want to do too. So like, did you work outside of it and then fund it yourself, or how did that go?
So thank you for your question, and good luck to your team as well. But I feel like initially coming here, right? Like I was telling the guys that like I feel like you guys should talk more about the business side, because I feel like people, especially when I talk to DJs in Vietnam, right? They're like, so who is that black man you have and the Asian? Is he like your security, or like what are they doing? I mean, they are everything. But I feel like, as Will said before, right? Like it went from like hobby to the business, a minute where you start thinking about like, the impact, how you can get all these people into the room. But it all started from the skill. I work like, I don't know if people know, but I've been doing this since I was 15. I've been DJing since I was 15. I'm 27. I've been doing this for 12 years now. And it wasn't making money up until like 3 years ago. Like I'm talking like proper money. It wasn't like hobby money. And I feel like then this guy came in, and the first question Will asked me was like, if you're gonna be just a DJ, I will not manage you. But if you're about to become an artist and expand this into a proper business, that we can expand it and bring it worldwide and do other stuff under like a big umbrella, and use this DJ, this face as like a force, as an engine in the car, and build everything on the top of that, then it makes sense as a business, right? Because like, as a DJ, like you can see, like, I hate to say it, but every 5 years there's somebody hot. In the next 3 years or 5 years, there's gonna be another DCR MILDA without the shirt, fully attached, taking 5 times more money than me, and I'm gonna be 33, right? Not cool enough. But then I was like, how about like we build something that, first of all, community, that's what mattered the most. Like from this weekend, we didn't like did we make anything? I don't even know. But nothing like,
We invested. We did not.
yeah, we look at this as an investment. But what we do is we take all the IPs from this weekend, and then we go on the next location and we pitch it, we sell it, or we create something similar like this on a different level. You know what I'm saying? Maybe scale it down, scale it up. But I feel like, it all comes down to like the core, which is the skill. This guy can sell me to anyone and anything. But if I come there and I don't know how to plug the cables in and I suck, then there's nothing to sell. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, it comes down to like the core of the business, what you do first, and then you build anything and everything that is aligned with your brand down the road, if it makes sense, right? From the business side, I let these guys talk on that.
So I think like it's kind of like what Fresh said in terms of like leading with love. I think that if you're trying to make money fast in this business, then in the wrong business. You know what I mean? Like, I accepted that, like, if I was gonna work with Milda, that I accepted that we were probably not gonna make no money for like 5 years. You know what I mean? Like, you have to kind of imagine yourself like, will I be able to tolerate this person while not making money with them for 5 years? Will I be able to tolerate them when they're like having panic attacks and screaming and yelling and there's all these problems in business for 5 years without making any money? Do you know what I mean? This is a very long-term relationship. You know, I have to be able to see a long time with him. I have to know that I can travel with him without losing my mind. I have to know that we can sleep in the same room and wake up on time and he's not messy and, you know, all these things. Like, we have to accept all those things. So what I'm saying is that if you come into this project with love, everything finds its place. You know what I mean? But it's love that fuels you the way through, you know? And in time, as you meet people that are aligned with you, I think that different opportunities and different things start to arise. But coming in with money from the get, it's really tough. And the thing that, like, you know, me and Fresh have said this a lot in our lives too, is that there are probably a lot of times when we wish that, like, maybe we made different decisions that made us money early, but we said that we probably would have fumbled the whole bag and started all over again anyway, because we don't have the same experience and wisdom and knowledge that we do now. So just because things come early doesn't mean it's meant for you. So I think that enjoying the process, knowing that you actually love it, that in itself is payment. Because if it really was about money, you'd probably do something else. You know what I mean? If you really need money tomorrow or at the end of the week, you needed a paycheck, this isn't what you're gonna do. You're not gonna be an entrepreneur. You're not gonna try to do this. Like, that's crazy. You know, but this is like, you're doing something that, like, your parents would have never thought you would have done. You're doing things that most people don't think that you'd ever succeed at. And they're gonna knock you, they're gonna doubt you. You know, like, it's a very, very lonely journey. So love is the only thing that's gonna get you through. So without it, I don't know how. Yeah.
I want to say one thing. You said on a small scale, we're working with the local people and all that. That's a big scale for us. Working with the locals, doing everything we're doing. This, what we did this weekend and what we're doing right now, this is the largest scale. This is larger than us from where we'll take this 10 years from now. This is the beginning. This is the journey. That, I feel like as entrepreneurs, you always have this mentality of like, what success is this? Like, you know, you're rolling in the dough, you have all these crazy partnerships, you're at the top. Like, that stuff is cool. It's inevitable if you're working hard and you know, your team, you guys are on the same vision board and you keep going, but this is the big scale for us. This is the crazy. I'm about to go on the plane in 4 hours and just sit here and look at all these pictures and videos and be like, wow, look at all these incredible people. Look what we did. Look what we built. This was a dream. Like, we had this conversation in December, like, yo, we got to go and do this. It's got to be Vietnam. The flyers got to feel like Vietnam. People around the world got to see this and know right away it's got to be like, this is, the beginning is everything. Like, I came shopping at this store in January. We're now in here doing a panel. Like, this is insane to me. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. But I would just say to you, like, in your journey and what you're doing, like, even though it's super hard and you know, in the beginning stages, but like, trust me, that is the journey. Everybody, when you watch any panel of anyone successful, what do? They revert back to back in the day on the journey. They're not telling you, oh, the plane, the car, who gives a shit. They're telling you, I remember in 1998 when I met blah, 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 we did this. That's the most memorable moment. So enjoy the journey and look at this journey as the biggest part of everything. All right.
Anything else? You good?
I mean, I just want to say real quick, as the non-Vietnamese here, I just want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you, Vietnam. Thank you, every single person that made all of this happen and everyone we worked with all weekend. And thank you for embracing me. Not for 1 second I've been in this country from when I landed on Monday or from when I was here for 3 weeks and flew all the way around this country. And I've felt nothing but love and I've been embraced everywhere. And I want to say thank you. And I've been literally in tons of countries all over the world and I've never felt like this. Like, all my friends are like, but how do they treat you? And I'm like, yo, this show me love. And they love, it feels like you guys love us. And speaking as like a black person, it's like, we went to the airport and we were going to Da Nang and they were listening to 21 Savage, so I was gonna bomb me. I was like, this is crazy. You can't even hear that in America. So honestly, I love you guys. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you for treating me. Thank you for including me in everything. And, you know, just showing love. Thank you for being here.
Okay.
Well, thank you, guys. This is so cute.
Yeah, this is very beautiful. Well, thank you to everyone. Again, as I said, came out here. I know it's Sunday, you guys have other plans, but you make time to come here, let us yap. Thank you to all the panelists. Thank you, Dan, for hosting this with us. Thank you, Viet. Thank you, the guys, the camera guys. And yeah, this is very special for me because being over there, coming here with my business partners, with my brothers, being on the same page, see the same vision, bigger picture, $10 million and community, and we can pull this off. This is this is very beautiful. And I wish you all success, luck, chúc mừng năm mới. And I see you guys tonight at BAM. And yeah, let's put a cherry on the top tonight. We go fucking all in.
And I'm just gonna say thank you guys too. I'm not gonna say too much because they've already said it all, but it really means a lot to me to have, I guess you guys just listen to us yap and just participate in everything that we've done over the weekend, all the love, all the support. And lastly, I'll say, she's not here, but thank you to my wife and to my 2 kids because they helped me love being Vietnamese. So thank you guys.
Can we hold on before you guys get up? Can we take a photo this way with everybody?
Sure.
Can somebody, photographer, somebody please? We're gonna do it this way and we're gonna do a little flick.
Why not just stand here?
This way.
Okay.
With everybody.
Are you gonna get all of the people at the back?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So what? I see you, everyone tonight at BAM or what? I have 2 bottles. Who's drinking? I'm not. Francis drinking.
I have a flight tomorrow.
Thank you. Cheers. Okay, hold on. More sauce on 3. Can we get one video too? 1, 2, 3. More sauce.
Thank you guys. I love you guys so much. Thank you.
I'm gonna.